Greetings. This is Terry Whitfield for the Terry Whitfield Podcast Show. Back at you one more time. Yes. Uh, I was just sitting back going through YouTube, okay? And there's certain areas of YouTube that I go to for entertainment. I like the Manosphere, the red pill Manosphere. I like the conscious community, or the black conscious community, quote unquote. I like watching the debates, in debate leagues, African American debate leagues, where African Americans debate, and it's not even African Americans, it's religious people. Uh, it's mostly African Americans that are on there, but there's a Spanish and there's a few other people, races on there. But yeah, I like the debate leagues, where you got like Solar Man Debate League. Shout out to the Lions Den Debate League. I'm a member of the Lions Den. You know, you got what I say, Solar Man. You got the Source Debate League. Shout out to the Source over there. Yah Remy Yah. Please say Yah. Shout out to the brother over there. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell y'all some things, just to let y'all know how the power and influence, of the things that I be talking about. You know what I'm saying? There's people from bigger platforms, and other YouTube content makers, you know. Funny how I'll say something, and it really, there's nothing new under the sun, but it's funny how I'll say something, and a month later, one of the bigger YouTubers in the field say the exact same thing that I be saying. You know, is it that they steal from the smaller YouTubers, or is it that great minds think alike? I don't know. You know. Yeah, but I was telling y'all about Young Pharoah, okay? And in one podcast episode that I've made earlier about Young Pharoah, this will be the second one. And this one may not even all be about him, but uh, Young Pharoah. I told y'all that Young Pharoah has been creeping off into the manosphere. I told y'all that. Didn't I tell y'all that? See, everybody thought Young Pharoah was going crazy, and he may be. He may be. But what I'm telling you is happening to Young Pharoah. Young Pharoah is getting money, and now that he's getting money, he's getting the attention of women in a way that he never had to get that attention before. You know what I'm saying? That he's never had before. He got women that's throwing themselves at him because he got that money and they know it. Okay, and that black woman is God teaching and doctrine that he believed in. He's not talking that kind of talk no more. He's saying that the black woman ain't shit, and he calling them bitches and shit, and all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, he's saying that he don't want black women anymore. He's even went as far as saying that he don't want to be black anymore. I mean, what is happening is that now that he has gotten that money and these women is driving him crazy, okay? Because the truth of the matter is that he never had women like he have them now, okay, and they throwing themselves at him. They ingratiating him. You know, they kissing his butt. You know, he's alphaing up on them. Okay, when I listen to the few videos, I don't follow Young Pharoah because to me, Young Pharoah, Polite, all them guys sound ridiculous. I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I'm saying? And that's just for certain. But I'm quite sure he said some things. He said some things that are thought provoking, but nothing to me. You know that was great. Okay. But anyway, Polite. You know, all them guys. You know, I mean, everybody has their own unique talent. But I told you all that basically what is happening to Young Pharoah is that Young Pharoah has been creeping over into the Manosphere. And now he just recently made a video where he asks Kevin Samuels to inbox him. And he wants to pay Kevin Samuels to be his fashion consultant. You know, he want Kevin Samuels to do him a makeover. Okay. So, yeah, he been going into the manosphere, and the reality has sunk in that the only way to deal with with females is through the knowledge that you can get as a man. Okay, and in the manosphere, men talk about men and talk about being men, and that's just as plain as that. And you can see that uh, clearly exemplified in the debate between Polite and Minister Jap. Minister Jap is from the Manosphere, and he challenged Polite, okay, on the black woman is God, and truly, Minister Jap made Polite look very, very, very silly. You know, Minister Jap just asked manly questions, you know, based off of his observation and what he sees, you know. But I don't know, maybe that may have attracted Young Pharoah, you know. But Young Pharoah is a kind of smart young man. You know, he knows how to work his brain. So I'm quite sure that him being a YouTuber, that he has come across the videos in the Manosphere, especially Minister Jap. You know what I mean? Minister Jap is pretty popular. Okay, yeah, but it's been confirmed what I told y'all. You know, and back then when I said it, you know, I had no receipts or no evidence like I do now. You know, the evidence that I had was the kind of talk that he was talking. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was telling the woman that he is the God now. That he is the prize and all of this kind of talk. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna be a part of my program or you gonna get the fuck on and it's about you playing a part in my program. You know what I'm saying? You know. I mean, he checks the woman and he putting their ass right in their place. And you're seeing the techniques of the manosphere being exemplified by Young Pharoah. And I told y'all that. For surely Kevin Samuels is one of the big dogs in the manosphere. Okay. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Kevin Samuels like that. You know what I'm saying? I have watched his videos and you know what I'm saying? You know, I done checked out his work and I'm not against him. I'm not against nothing he says. You know, I'm not against nothing that he does. You know, hey, that's him. You know, there was some stuff out on him, You know, people trying to say that he was homosexual and had a man in his bed and all of that type of stuff. And, you know, women really was mad at Kevin Samuels. You know, ain't too many men mad at Kevin Samuels, but it's women who mad at him. But on the flip side of that, there is women who respect him and agree with him. Okay, and Kevin Samuels has a lot of men that agree with him. Okay, but they were trying to take down Kevin Samuels with the homosexual thing, but as a man, he persevered. Uh, yeah, but yeah, Kevin Samuels is definitely, most definitely in the Manosphere, and Young Pharoah has been going back and forth in the Manosphere. Yep, sure has. And that's what I wanted to pretty much, tell y'all about. You know, that was the pretty much the news for the day. You know, I'm just patting myself on the back because I told y'all what it was. You know, now I think he's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think that young Pharaoh, as a young black man, you know what I'm saying? Had issues. Okay, and I think that anybody that is quick to examine life and just throw God out the window, okay, or anything like that. You know, I'm just quick to just throw it out the window. And especially the Israelites' God. You know, the God of the Old Testament for certain. To be quick to throw that stuff out the window is not really, really an intelligent thing to do. You understand? Because the Bible basically is just a moral guide. And the most important part of the Bible was the adherence to the laws and the commandments of God. And I guess that in order for you to adhere to these laws, you want to know who God is. Okay? But at the end of the day, when you check out these laws and put these laws on the table, these laws are some very, 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 very established principles. Okay? And they're established by the way of Israelite writings, Israelite text. And all of the rest of the Old Testament, after the law was given, is none other than stories about what happened when the children of Israel followed these commandments and laws, and what happened when they disobeyed these commandments and laws. And in many instances, the kings, they had good kings and they had bad kings. You know, I talked about that once before. And during the reign of the bad kings, the children of Israel went off into captivity. And that was during the times when other kingdoms, like Babylon and Assyria, and Greece, and Rome, conquered them. Okay? Egypt never really conquered them. They went into Egypt and became Egyptian workers. The word for work in Hebrew, there's two words that come to my mind right off the bat. And one is amal, which is the same word in Arabic, amal. And the other word is abud, abud, okay? Or abid, okay? The Hebrew word abid, A-B-D, abid. It means, it's been translated in your Bible as worship, but it means to work for, to toil after, and to serve. It's another word for work. It also means to enslave. But there's a word Shabbaton for captivity. But anyway, back at the ranch, I'll get to dropping jewels and all of that, and I really didn't want to go that far. Yeah, but that's it. Young Pharoah has been creeping into the Manosphere, and that is the source of his dominant attitude that he is portraying towards the women. A lot of people would see that type of attitude and call it crazy and toxic masculinity. Okay? The problem with African Americans is not toxic masculinity, and it never has been toxic masculinity. The problem with African Americans has been the lack of masculinity. And with that black woman is God thing, you understand, you lack masculinity there. It is man standing from a position of non-strength and non-dominance and non-aggression. Okay, that whole stance, you see, and it's very beta and simpish. Everybody in the Manosphere knows that mentality is simpish, and I think it's that of a simp. And I think Minister Jap went there. Okay, it's a very beta mentality. Okay, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing young Pharoah step off into his masculinity, and as he is doing that, basically his whole world is being shattered. A lot of things that he taught and believed, you know what I'm saying, is the crash and fall of that belief system is coming to fruition in his very life, right in front of his very eyes. Okay? And it's obvious that the spaceship that he claimed that he come from, or Kemet, or any of that stuff, hasn't equipped him how to deal with money and or women. Okay? Me personally, I see something psychotic going on inside of young Pharoah. Surely I think he's losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to put your heart and soul behind a belief system like the black woman is God, which is what got you all of the money that you have made. It is one of the principal core teachings. And when when you come to believe that now that you saying bitches ain't shit and all of this kind of talk, surely he is losing his mind. Whatever mind he had before, that mind is gone. Okay? And he's embarking into something else. And what that is, I have no idea. Especially if he has not yet come to grip with that Yahweh is Elohim. He is El Elyon. Okay? And as simple as that is, that's all he has to do is come to grip with that. Don't add nothing to it. Don't take nothing from it. Yeah, but I see something going wrong with him. I was listening to O'Shea Dude Jackson, and he was the one who brought the news. I saw him, and he had done a show about it, and he was talking about, how young Pharoah want a fashion consultant, and he wants to change his image, you know, I guess to be more manly in his dress. But O'Shea Duke Jackson was saying that there's a problem in the inside, and he don't think that it's going to come to fruition between him and Kevin Samuels, or even that it wasn't even a good idea because masking the outside doesn't change the damage and hurts and problems that is going on in the inside of Young Pharoah. And those problems that is going on inside of Young Pharoah is something Young Pharoah needs to fix. But yeah, it's very clear that something is going on with Young Pharoah, you know. And I think the Manosphere really, I knew had been drifting off into the Manosphere. I don't know how far he has drifted into the Manosphere, you dig, because he always has people around him. And the Manosphere usually is one of those things to where you have to have time and you have to focus on a lot of these things that these men are saying. You have to really, really analyze it, you know, or you'll just take a subjective approach and answer it emotionally as opposed to, or in contrast to, intellectually. Okay? So yeah, that's the deal on Young Pharoah. Yeah, that's the deal on Young Pharoah. Uh, oh yeah, I already talked about on the prior podcast I made yesterday about how others were biting my content pretty much. You know, I have to say biting it because ain't nobody on YouTube really talking like me. That's why I'm the first one to say a lot of these things. Okay, I'm the first one to say anything about Young Pharoah. Been looking off into the Manosphere. Okay, but everybody want to talk about who's more intelligent than me, who's a better debater than me, and all of these types of things. You know, they like to try to paint a picture of me, and there's some people out there that really just don't want to see Terry Whitfield, Yasha Ben Israel succeed. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are envious and jealous of the intellect that I convey. Okay, uh, ain't nobody ever proved it wrong, and inside of the arena of debate in these debate leagues, I'm not going to say they're rigged, but there's people, no matter who brings what type of information, there's people that are going to vote for their buddies or vote for the people that is in the same school of thought and philosophy or who have the same ideas as them. Okay? And even if their idea is wrong, okay? Let's say, for instance, there was a debate over, did Jesus die on a stake or did he die on a cross? Okay? 9 times out of 10, the person who took the side that Jesus died on the cross 9 times out of 10 is going to win. Okay, when in truth and in reality, the Quiet Greek records say that Christ was hung from a tree, and all of the text where it says that Jesus Christ died on the cross or anything like that, it talked about a stake, Christ died on the stake. And this is written in your Koine Greek Bible, in which your New Testament you have today was translated from. Okay, so the person who took the stake argument in actuality is the person who is more accurate and should win these debates. But because of the appeal to faith logical fallacy, and the biasness of the judges, they count fallacies. Okay? In the conscious community, the only reason why Polite has gotten to the place where he has gotten is because Polite has a whole entire argument based on logical fallacies. And these fallacious arguments, they will win if the audience is a bunch of non-educated fools, okay? And the reason why people run to those platforms in the first place, because they're beginning to question God. But in the Hebrew Israelite belief system, in that which we accept as the truth, our scripture says that a fool says within his heart there is no God. So this is the reason why I say that your platforms are being judged by fools, and many people have been cheated up out of debates. You know, too many times people on the wrong side of the argument win these debates. You know, there's no real reason with scholarship and sufficient evidence that the cross should win over the stake argument. Because the only thing that you have about the cross itself is a whole bunch of Christian literature that was revolved around that. Stuff that came from Catholicism. Okay? And a whole bunch of stuff that came up and evolved up out of Christianity. Okay? But the historicity shows would more so support the torture of the state. You know, because there's many. If you read the martyrdom stories about all of the other disciples and stuff, and how Peter was killed, hung upside down, off of a stake. You know, some would even say an upside down cross. You know, now they're adding, superimposing that cross in there. You know, I mean, those types of things have always happened in myths and legends and stories. Over time, people begin to add stuff to it, You know what I'm saying? And it changes greatly the belief system. You know, so yeah, that's pretty much what it is, y'all. Young Pharoah has been drifting off into the Manosphere like I told y'all. That being it, this is Yasha Ben Israel signing out for the Yasha Ben Israel Terry Whitfield podcast show.